So that means, since it's his time, we announced him first. It's time to catch up with our buddy Lucas Panzica, find out what in the wide world of sports is going on in Nashville. So, what is going on in the wide world of sports in Nashville, sir?
Well, the Preds are still struggling. The Titans are bottoming out, and Nashville SC is pushing for another trophy. So the boys in gold are this shining beacon of light right now in Music City, John. Right now, at the moment, the only good thing that's uplifting Nashville sports fans. So big time of year.
Let it be soccer. By the way, how would you proclaim yourself as a cook, sir?
I'd say it's my only hobby outside of sports.
Okay.
For sure.
Because you were teasing pasta dishes on your socials, and those of us who are pasta freaks sat there and looked at it and went, "Damn, that's not fair." So what is your best pasta dish that you make when you're sitting there and you're just messing around at home and you're just like, yeah, I got some stuff here in the cupboard. What's your go-to when you're at home and you want to just make a big old plate of pasta for just you and nobody else?
I mean, that's the thing, man. It's so much easier than people want it. People want to give me credit for it, and I just want to give it back because it's just a simple tomato sauce, man. That's all you need. All you need, a little bit of passata or maybe some tomato paste with pasta water, garlic, basil, maybe some chili flakes and salt, and that's it. That's all you need. My favorite pasta to make of all time is in amatriciana, but hard to find good guanciale around here.
All right, well, dial that back. That's what are we talking about here? What is that?
Amatriciana. So it's just a guanciale, which is the cheek, right? It's the cheek of the pork. It's got that great fat that you just let it sweat a little bit. You cook the tomato sauce in the fat of the pork that you've just cooked. And that's literally it. That's all there is to it. I promise you. People tell me like I need to start doing those reels, right? Where you you just cut after cut of here's how you do it. Here's this step and this step and this step. And now I almost want to show that like, hey man, it's not that hard. You just need 2 to 3 ingredients and boom, you're good to go.
Wow. That's a bit mind-blowing. Yeah. We're going to have to either go to a place in Nashville next time I see you that's got good pasta, or you're just going to have to make it and I'll pay you like $9 gazillion.
That works.
Okay.
That works. I'm down.
Just checking. I'm a pasta dude. So that's why I was asking. I saw it and I was instantly sitting there going, oh man, I got to have some pasta. Okay. I actually did bring you on here to talk about soccer. I know that might shock some folks, but if this series coming up for Nashville goes to its end and it's a best of 3, you will have played, meaning Nashville in the collective, you will have played Messi and friends 4 straight matches. How weird is that prospect? And a lot of folks that we've been talking to are kind of like, well, if anybody's going to ding Messi and friends, it might be Nashville in a 3-game set.
Yeah, right. At this point, this will be, if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head, the 18th meeting between Nashville and Miami. Obviously, both came into the league at the exact same time. So Nashville has officially played Miami as many times as any other opponent they've ever played. And it will be the most amount of times after this first game going into the second game. It's unusual, right? To a potential, essentially 4-game series. It doesn't really happen in this sport. Nashville has had some knockdown, drag-out battles with Miami. Like, it's developed into this pretty organic rivalry just with the amount of competitions, John. Like, we're talking at this point about MLS regular season, MLS Cup playoffs, Leagues Cup, CONCACAF Champions Cup, US Open Cup. There's no other competitions that they could play each other in. And somehow in the span of like 2 years, they've managed to face off in all of those. So you got to think Nashville's due at some point. They have yet to beat Miami. It was very heavily leaned towards Nashville in the early years when Miami was a disaster. And Nashville, to its credit, established a pretty high floor out of the gates in its MLS existence. But since Messi came into the picture, Nashville has not been on the winning side against Inter Miami. This is as good an opportunity as any. And you come off that 5-2 loss on decision day, but there's a lot of context to that game where there were opportunities to be had in the first half that Nashville did not take advantage of. Game could have been totally different. It wasn't. And then you allowed Messi and company to take over in the second half. So a lot of lessons to be taken from that decision day fixture and applied to a potential 3-game series.
I was going to ask about it. So obviously you're reading my notes. It was 5-2 final on decision day for those that were focused on other games. Messi scores in the 35th. Serge scores in the 43rd to bring things even. Schaffelberg scores at 45 plus 6. And then in the second half, it was just pedaled down by the folks in pink. What you mentioned all of this of the context and everything and missed chances. What was it in the second 45 that was the big difference there in this one where it's 2-1 and then it finishes 5-2?
Yeah, it's just Miami taking control. It's Nashville losing possession in its own half far too often, and Miami constantly making them pay. I have to say, personally, in terms of what I have seen with my own eyes, it's the best 45 minutes I've ever seen from an MLS side, with Lionel Messi working in conjunction with Rodrigo de Paul and Sergio Busquets and Talasco Segovia coming off the bench. All these names that Atlanta fans are well versed with by now as well.
Yeah.
But it really, you couldn't help but think about that first half. One-on-one opportunities that Hani Mukhtar was unable to take advantage of, that Sam Surridge was unable to take advantage of. Nashville had 12 shots to Miami's 4 in that first 45, 6 shots on target in the first half. They had 1 shot on target in the entire second half. So unable to capitalize. They weren't clinical enough in that first 45, and they paid for it in the second half. It's the kind of game where Miami's going to hurt you, right? Like, you're not going to win the game 2-0. It's going to be, especially with these two teams that like to go forward, it's going to be a high-scoring affair. So you have to be able to take advantage of those chances in front of goal. Nashville didn't do that last Saturday, and they're going to try to do that, and they've been good all season, John, about compartmentalizing and not letting one result turn into another, and another. And now they got to go into this weekend with a pretty fresh slate, but also a pretty good familiarity with Miami.
Yeah, you look at the starting 11 you had last time out. It was America's favorite 1980s villain, Joe Willis. In that, I figure with that handlebar mustache, the only thing missing is like the top hat and maybe twirling it on the edges. Lovitz, Zimmerman, Mayer, and Andy Nahar, Mouil, Yazbek, and Eddie Togset. Then it was Schaffelberg, Surridge, and Mukhtar. No changes that you're thinking about, any knocks or anything anybody needs to know about?
No, Schaffelberg came off a lot earlier than anticipated in that game, but BJ Callahan said yesterday he's full go, which is a good matchup for Nashville on that right side. I think any winger that will bomb forward with the pace and energy of a Jacob Schaffelberg, you feel good about that situation opposite Jordi Alba, right, who's so often getting forward and maybe not doing as much tracking back. Although I will say the recovery defending for Miami was really good last Saturday. This is a Miami team, I will add, that is engaged, man. They want to win a title. They want the cup. They are not lackadaisical whatsoever. And Nashville knows that. And so they got to go on the road this Friday with a different mentality than they carried for 90 minutes at home last weekend. And they've talked about that. Eddie Taxeth talked about that yesterday at the media availability. But yes, I would expect the lineup. I don't have any information on this, don't know for sure, but I'd expect it to look pretty similar. I think Nashville wants to go out with that 11 that has brought them a lot of success this weekend and just play their game because they did that against Miami on the road back in July, and it was a 2-1 loss. 2 very preventable goals. You can see the free kick at the top of the box that Messi scores, and Joe Willis makes a rare mistake passing out of the back that Messi pounces on, and you leave losing 2-1, but also taking some confidence from that. It didn't really carry over last Saturday, not taking advantage of those chances that were presented, and we'll see if it'll carry over a little bit this weekend.
Another couple of minutes are with Lucas Panzica, who's given us the intel on Nashville as they get ready for Messi and Friends in a best-of-3 series here in the Eastern Conference. Who has, in the relationship with Surridge and Hani Mukhtar, has Surridge made Mukhtar better? Has Mukhtar made Surridge better? Or are they both sitting there and just, hands over the shoulders, and it's just like, yeah, we're going forward as a group? Has one made the other better and drawn more out of the other player, you think?
Oh, man, it's a great question. I don't want to cop out, but I really think it's that third option that you said. Sam Surridge managed to score 15 goals in all competitions last year, having next to no service, right? And then BJ Callahan coming in didn't have any preconceived notions this year of, no, I want to play with this shape. This is what we're going to do. He looked first from top to bottom, starting with Sam Surridge. How do we maximize his strengths? And he looked back at what Sam did in his most successful season with Bournemouth. And that was a 2-striker system at the top that brought out the best in Sam Surridge. And so that kind of was the beginnings of the 4-2-2-2 shape with Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surridge leading the line. And it's just been this balance of one taking pressure off the other, Hani Mukhtar teeing up Sam being there for those back post crosses. And when there is that space for Hani, he'll take advantage of it and score. And he's got double-digit goals, double-digit assists, while Sam has been an MVP finalist. So, I don't want to cop out and take the easy answer, but I really think it's a pretty even share there, John, that they have been so mutually beneficial this year as the second most productive goal-scoring duo in MLS.
What's it like having Walker back on the back line?
Oh, it's big for sure. I mean, just from a leadership standpoint, there has been some, interchangeability there with Walker Zimmerman, Jason Palacios, and Jack Mayer. It was Walker and Jack last time out. That's been a pretty consistent competition. Walker, obviously, is one of the best aerial defenders in Major League Soccer. He's a threat on set pieces. But you also have to balance the athleticism of Jason Palacios and recovery defending, and Miami being the best transitional team in Major League Soccer. There are some strengths and weaknesses there to balance out. So I'll be curious to see what BJ Callahan does this Friday, but there's no questioning Walker's, importance to this team, wearing the captain's band and what he's meant as a foundational piece of this club.
I will admit that Walker and Jack sounds like something that you get on the front on the weekends. I would also imagine that when you're going up against Messi and friends, the idea that coming into it, say something happens offensively with Miami, they lose it, they're instantly having to defend with 8. It's 10v8 going back the other way. I'm thinking that there are going to be some opportunities, especially on the wings. You mentioned how Jordi Alba likes to come forward. There's that space that's created in behind when he does come forward, chasing after things on the wings. This one, to me, this series could be one of the more high-scoring series in this opening round just because of the opportunities presented to Nashville where you have to be clinical.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't have to tell you guys that, the series can be there for the taking. And we talked to BJ yesterday about Atlanta's win over Miami last year, about the context of how they lost that first game in Miami, came back and won games 2 and 3. Nashville has studied that. They studied Vancouver's victory over Miami in CONCACAF Champions Cup over 2 legs. So they know that there are opportunities to be had there. Miami is going to concede chances. It's just part of what they do. Can Nashville capitalize? Can they be clinical? Sam Surridge, Hani Mukhtar, whoever else gets that opportunity in front of goal, because that was the key last Saturday. And it's not that complicated, right? Miami's not going to change the way that they play. They are who they are, and they're going to do the same things. And in a lot of ways, Nashville, it's the same. So it's going to be a pretty similar blueprint, John. For Nashville, I think it's about finding that balance of when to kind of spell possession a little longer and get organized, and when to bomb forward, understanding the vulnerabilities that could come with that against this side. But to your point, yes, I don't expect this to be a lot of 2-1, 1-0 matchups here in games 1 and 2. I think it's going to be high-flying stuff, exciting soccer, and 2 teams that are desperately pushing for a trophy because there's a legitimate belief in both buildings that they can hoist MLS Cup.
Yeah, Messi and friends right now heading into this first matchup, they're a minus 189 in the juice boxes. Looking at totals, 3.5 is a minus 109 in the composite. 4 is where it flips, basically 3 3/4, plus 154 for 4, and then plus 4.5 tonight is a plus 210. All right, for folks that want to pay attention to everything going on that you guys do to make sure that we are all educated on the hashtag everyone, and hit the promo for me, sir.
So I'm actually not on the call tonight. I've got a high school football broadcast. I know you know that life. I've got a Friday Night Rivals going on this Friday. My colleague Will Bowling will be on the call on 104.5 The Zone. I'll be back at it next Saturday for the home fixture at Geodis Park. So as always, you can watch on Apple TV, and you've got the option to listen to the home radio broadcast. I know Atlanta fans utilize that option routinely with Mike Conti and the guys. So looking forward to it, man. It's like we're used to it at this point. It's been 2 years, so the like shine of, oh my God, Messi is here. We're not like showing up to every game, just everybody looking around in wonderment, right? But you still take a moment to appreciate what you're watching and the opportunity in front of Nashville here to do something that not many expect them to do globally, while at the same time appreciating the greatness of Lionel Messi and a couple of guys that we'll be seeing for really the last stretch of their career here in Busquets and Alba. So I think we can do both, right? We can value the opportunity for Nashville and this belief that they have to go and beat Miami, but also appreciate what we're witnessing that it seems like we're going to be witnessing for another few more years in MLS.
Yeah, he signed the contract yesterday in front of that banner at Freedom Park. I'll be knocking on your door before game 2. As always, my friend, great to grab hold of you and find out what's going on, get the vibe before game 1 of this big series. Thanks for dropping by on a Friday.
Anytime, John. Appreciate it.
There goes Lucas Panzica. He's going to go make some really large. See, now, if Lucas made a big pasta dish for breakfast, that would be epic. Pasta for breakfast. That would be absolutely amazing. And so our resident chef outside of our footprint. See, now, if we got Nick and Lucas in one place and we had like a cook-off, that would be pretty sweet. If we had Nick and Lucas, we had two guys diving into pasta dishes in a kitchen, that would feed like thousands of people. and it would be maybe like $12.04 to make the whole thing, and it would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, if you follow Lucas on socials, he'll draw. He had this big old cooker going on his surface unit, and I'm like, man, I'm instantly hungry. That's why I had to go down that road